You have reached capacity. You see the leads coming in and it is exciting, but it immediately gives you anxiety. You don't know if you have capacity. You know that if you say yes, you may drop the ball on a project and not only damaging your relationship with the client, but also your reputation of the business. But if you say no, they're going to go with a competitor and they're not going to come back. This is a very stressful situation because you know you can help them, but you know what is at risk. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can increase capacity so that you can take on more projects with confidence, knowing that you're not going to drop the ball or burn yourself out. My name is Juan Guerra and I help business owners simplify and systemize so that they can build a scalable service business that allows them to earn more while working less. If you're looking to unlock 30K months in your business, check the description below and grab the GPT that I have put together for you that is going to analyze your particular situation and design you a plan, a blueprint that is going to allow you to implement the strategies that I'm sharing in this video. There are two ways to reach capacity in a service business. Whether you're running an agency or consultancy, there are two ways that you can get there. Only one of them it's actually sustainable and scalable. On the one side, you have a situation where the leads are coming in, but every lead it's looking for you to solve the same problem for them. They're looking to buy the same solution as the other ones, and they're looking to get the same result and outcome. That is an ideal case. The other situation is that leads are coming in, but everybody wants a complete different thing. They're looking for you to solve a different problem, to deliver a different outcome, and therefore you find yourself investing hours trying to package your expertise into a solution that you can sell to them. That path was where I was back in 2019. We were doing a video production company and we were selling event videos, we were selling YouTube commercials, we were selling animated videos. So as I found myself in that situation, I would see the leads come in and it would be exciting because I've been working so hard to grow this business. But then as I look into the project, I start having anxiety because I could see how every time I will need to start from scratch, trying to figure out scope creep, chase people to get paid and so on. And eventually it actually burned me out. I had tried complete different models. I tried doing retainers so I could stabilize the income and the scope creep and just focus on delivery. I tried coaching and teaching clients how to do what we do. I had tried packages so that things would be clear and the value, but I would just constantly find myself redesigning and taking things from those packages to adapt them to fit the needs and budget of that particular person. And so as I burn out and I get frustrated with the business, the clients, I resent them, I resent myself, I start looking into the situation and I see that there are other companies that are succeeding. And I wonder what is the thing that is making this depend on me? Why is it that it's so overwhelming to run this service business? And I realized that there was one thing that made it really hard for everything to run. And that was complexity. Service business is complex by nature. You have people, you need to train them, you need to onboard them, you have many different stakeholders, you have to follow processes, and everything is intangible. And so things can easily change in communication, in understanding. So there is already by default a lot of complexity. But when you're starting out and you're trying to win clients, what's happening is that you sort of exponentially grow that complexity because now you have it in the offer, whether you try retainers, you try packages. What's happening at the end of the day is that you have too much uncertainty. You don't know what the problem is that you're solving and you're constantly trying to figure it out. So because of that, every project starts from scratch, and that means you have complexity in delivery. every process and everything, it's hard to make decisions. You don't know what good looks like, and so everything lives in your head, and it doesn't matter how much you try to put together SOPs and document your processes. If the thing that you solve, it's different from what you have done before, and SOP is only valuable for 4 months, and if you don't have 4 weeks, and if you don't have the culture and the systems to use them, it doesn't work. And so delivery is complex, meaning everything relies on you to make decisions. And then lastly, what's happening is that on top of this, we have the client experience. And because we are trying to provide the best experience possible, what ends up happening is that we adapt delivery to fit the working style of every client. And so with one client we meet in person, with the other client they like phone calls, with the other one they like email, one uses Trello, one uses Asana, and so we are constantly adapting. And so obviously the combination of these three things, this offer that we sell something different to everybody and constantly just solve a different problem, and we restart our business, then delivery and client experience, it's how we then suddenly see that we have capacity for 2-3 projects, and then we need to stop selling because we are afraid to drop the ball. We cannot just take any more clients, and that stops us from selling, and therefore we stay stuck in this infinite loop of inconsistent cash flow. So how do we actually solve this situation? Well, when I burn out, I realize that complexity is the problem, and I start looking into these areas and I see that it is all over the place. So in order for me to eliminate complexity, I need to find ways to simplify everything that we're doing. And I look into our delivery and I see that actually, what is it that clients want? Not what I want to do. What is it that they are buying? And I use that to build one signature service. Once I have that, I create simplicity. Now I don't need to say yes to everybody. I only need to say yes for those that are looking to buy that signature service. This gives me clarity on the marketing, on the messaging, on what it is that we do for our customers. Once I have that, now I can start standardizing delivery. And therefore, I have one delivery process that is replicable. So now every project builds on the last one rather than starting from scratch. I can start defining what success looks like. I can start standardizing the way that we do things. I can capture my essence, my secret sauce, what makes me special, what do we do compared to others, and so on. And then because of that, because I have a signature service and one delivery process, now I can bring everything together into one client experience so that every client has exactly the same experience every time that they come back to us. And that's how we start building trust, and we keep them longer working with us, because in the beginning they're going to come from the results, hoping that you're a nice person to work with, but what keeps them coming back is not the results, it's the experience that is rewarding, and that every time they come back they get exactly the same thing. Just the same way you keep going to the same hairdresser because you know what to expect and you like the way they do things, and you like how that experience is there, then it is the same situation here. If your hairdresser gives different results each time, if that person is not there, somebody else, and the experience is different, the music is different, they don't offer you coffee, they offer you water, then they don't have anything, you have to wait a lot, you wait a little bit. Like, if that keeps changing, then you might as well go with somebody else. And so once we start controlling these things, that's when we can actually take control back of the business, take control back of our life. And now, instead of saying yes to random income, we can focus on getting more people to buy that same thing. Rather, sort of like iPhone is not adapting the phone to you, they're just finding ways that make the iPhone relevant to different target groups. That's exactly what we start doing here. And that allows us to grow because we're just finding people with the same problem. They just work in a different industry, different name. And now we don't need to specialize in one industry that if they get hurt, then we are screwed. Instead, we simplify, like we spread out risk by being able to solve the same problem, but in different industries. And the way that we did this is by what I call a signature service stack. And that is a signature service, so it is sold as a project, no more retainers. It is designed and guaranteed to solve a problem and deliver the outcome that the client is looking for. It is designed for one ideal customer. It is fixed in price, fixed in scope, and paid in advance just like a product. This completely changed my business. I went from chasing clients that took 2 months to pay me to actually already collecting money right after the proposal. Because of that, I already knew what the next client is going to need. I already knew what the next project is going to be like. And so that allowed me little by little to build what I call an internal brain. And that is sort of that is beyond SOPs. That is sort of our master process, but come in a way that becomes the central brain that powers everything that we do, whether it is team members or AI agents that are going to be trained using that. And so this was the next level of making sure that every client and every project was delivered exactly to my expectations, to my standards. And that way clients got an experience that was the same as if I was there, but without having to be part of it. And lastly, we bring everything together on what we call a central hub. And this is a place where we manage projects, track them, also manage collaboration and communication, everything in one place. So not only the business, my company was working within there, but then we were delivering projects within there. So no more jumping between Slack, in-person, email, phone calls, and so on. Everything happened in one place where we work and where we deliver our projects. And that allowed me then to not have to be the main point of communication and sort of do quality control for my team and what they were doing, because they already knew how to deliver to my standards thanks to the internal brain. And then this central hub allowed me to connect my team and the customer and sort of take a step back, allowing the team member to step up and own their role, master it, take responsibility and authority to work together with the clients. Clients get bigger value because now they get results faster, and I'm able to take a step back without losing control because things are not happening in an email or in a Slack chat, but everything is happening in one place. And that was what allowed me then 2 years later in 2021 to see clients coming in saying, we want the same thing that you did for X person. Great, it is this much. Here you go. My team will now onboard you, and they deliver the project for them. The true test of all this was when my son was born on May 4th, 2021, and we had a big production that day with 8 people in the team. And at 7 a.m., I'm in the Uber with my wife. I write to the team, I'm not coming today. They say, no worries, we got it. And at the end of the day, I called the client. Everything was great. I called the team. Everything was great. And from that moment on, I did not have to set foot in any single production. That week alone, while I was in the hospital with my wife and my newborn, we delivered over 30K worth of projects, and I did not have to set foot in any of them. And that is the ideal situation. That is what happens when you have a signature service. That is the core thing that you're selling, the thing that you become known for, the thing that you market, the thing that you sell first. And then after you deliver that, then you move people into a retainer. So in my case was we become known as the experts for the production of live streams, like virtual events for conferences. And then after that, we move them into a retainer where we can take all the materials that we have produced and then create ongoing content for their socials after the event. Some of my clients, what they're doing is they signature is branding and building their website, and then they move them to ongoing social media content. Or you can help them put together a signature keynote and then move them to pitching them to podcasts and conferences on a monthly basis so that they get booked. And so this allows you to do the heavy lifting first, acquiring the customer at a profit while building a relationship with them and setting everything up for them in their business, that then you go ahead and maintain with your retainer. So selling retainers is not a bad idea. It's just that selling people directly into them, it's where the challenge is. If you are struggling with capacity and you're in scenario one where every client is different and you don't know how to deliver the project, you need to constantly learn, you're gonna be very, very capped. 2-3 projects max. A fourth one is gonna disrupt everything. What you wanna do is look into what is selling best, which one has the biggest profit margins, which one's your best position to deliver, and then use that to build your signature service and just focus on selling that over and over and over. And that's how you're able to design a scalable service business that is not going to drop quality and is not going to burn you out, because you will see your team rise up. You're going to trust them to deliver, and that way you can focus on acquiring more business with confidence and clarity that you will be there to deliver for them. If this was interesting for you, make sure to like and subscribe. Drop your comments below if you have any questions, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. My name is Juan Guerra, and thank you so much for making it this far.